You're listening to Crystal and Emily on Love Your Shelf, the best librarian podcast in the extensive and highly competitive field of librarian podcasts. Hello.
Oh, hello.
We are back with, what's the name of this podcast again?
Love Your Shelf.
Exactly. I knew that.
We're just rusty.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I'm Crystal,
I'm Emily.
and we're going to talk about books and movies and shows and whatever else.
All entertainment.
Yeah. And particularly since it is currently December 21st, we're going to talk about the
Winter solstice.
Winter solstice, yes.
So we did that on purpose.
It's a
Big fans of the winter solstice.
Yes.
Actually, not at
Very
all.
important,
I
yeah.
can't wait for it to not get dark at 5 o'clock.
Yes, I'm a fan that it's going in the other direction.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
Okay. Silver lining.
Yeah, exactly, because that's me. So, if you know me, you know I'm the
Good one.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about year's best, according to us. And as I was going through, it's like, I think this year just flew by a little bit because some of the stuff that I was looking at, I was like, wow, that was a whole year ago that I read that. Or,
Yeah, I was looking at my I'm not going to do this on Love Your Shelf, but I have a list of my favorite picture books of the year. But I was doing the same thing. I was like, there is no way this was... Anyway, yeah. My time it's all wibbly wobbly.
It is wibbly wobbly. And I'm on Goodreads, and I love to keep track of my reading there. And it's also, they do like an end of the year thing where they show how many books you've read. And I do the challenge. So last year I read 100 books. Nice. So I made that my challenge.
Wow, Crystal, brag much?
Come on, they're varying levels.
I'm joking.
I know. I accept it. I'm a dork, but So I have not read 100 books this year.
Okay.
I am gonna go back through because I think I maybe missed some that I didn't log.
Yeah.
But I don't usually do that, so maybe
don't
that's
usually
just wishful
skip.
thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
You pretty much.
You're like,
go
I know
in
I
there.
did more. I know I outdid myself.
Right. And literally nobody cares.
Oh my gosh, no.
So obviously, but
You're such a Ravenclaw. I love it.
Challenging myself. But anyway, it'll be close. It'll be close. But I did read lots of good stuff.
Nice.
But nothing that just really, like changed my life or anything.
Okay. Not one of those years.
No.
Maybe it'll be 2023.
Yeah. I still have a huge list. So when I go through and look at other people's end of the year list, I, then make a new list for myself. So I've got probably, I'm not even going to say how many books I have on Libby from this library and others because I'm hoarding.
It's okay.
It's a little bit.
At least it's just like on your phone.
Yeah.
Talking about Libby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm also not hoarding.
Secret hoarding.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody can tell.
It'd be a very boring episode of Hoarders.
Right. Just scroll.
Going through, scrolling forever.
So, but I am reading them as fast as I can.
Nice.
And I read one last night that I think is a contender, the top contender.
Nice. I saw you walking in with it. And was
Yeah.
like, Crystal did her homework last night.
To be the big read for next year. So, because that's also something that we're deciding right now. Because they just put out, just a couple weeks ago, I think, the list. So, in case anybody doesn't know, the big read is basically a year-round project for us here.
It's our whole life.
Yeah, because the grant proposal is due in January, and then, we have our events in the fall, and then our final report is due in December. So that's pretty much all the year long. So I'm not going to say what that one was because we want some little anticipation.
Exactly.
But I did read the next book this past year by Kevin Wilson, who was our author for the big read this year. And he wrote Now Is Not the Time to Panic. And I've talked about it, I think, on the podcast.
I just got it on Libby. I haven't started it yet. Literally today. It got off of whoever had it before. Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. It's about these two teenagers who create this sort of unusual art, and then it affects the whole community in a surprising way. And so, and it follows them into their adulthood, like years later.
Right.
What's the lingering impact of that and all of this other stuff. So, really good. Kevin Wilson's great. It's funny, but also touching, and the characters are really vivid. So I definitely recommend that. And all of the ones that I'm going to talk about today are very, very different from each other.
That's cool.
So it's kind of a tricky thing because, if you would like something like that, but you're into more of like that specific genre, then you might not like the next one because it is science fiction.
Cool.
Both of these books were Goodreads nominees for the best in their categories.
Cool.
But How High We Go in the Dark by Sequoia Nagamatsu is definitely, I think, one that I talked about. It is so unique. And it's basically, it's about this archaeologist who goes to the Arctic, and they have uncovered this dig there, and it's very important. It's important in terms of like the scientific impact, but also the personal impact for the archaeologist. And then they dig up a plague that then impacts the whole world.
I hate them.
Why are you digging into the permafrost?
Keep your hands and your shovels to yourself.
Yeah. These archaeologists, man, just all the time.
Nosy.
Yeah. Jurassic Park, all the things.
Yeah. Digging into the past.
So, but then almost, it's like the next part of the novel is almost completely different from that, because it's years later how that plague has affected other people, in this theme park that's for terminally ill children.
Whoa. Didn't see that coming.
No. And then like there's a person who works there.
Wow.
And, yeah.
What a
it is heavy.
story, yeah.
And then there's a whole other part that's almost supernatural, or is kind of a supernatural element. And I mean, it sounds like a lot.
Yeah.
And it is, but it's...
Do they do a pretty good job of streamlining things?
Yeah.
And that's good.
Yeah.
It sounds pretty interesting, though.
If any of those little things appeal to you, then go for it. Pandemic? Yeah, sign me up.
Theme parks?
Yeah. Theme parks. This is not the fun theme park.
Oh, okay.
If you're into theme parks,
don't
please do
read
not
this. Yeah,
book.
yeah.
And then the next book that I enjoyed was called Cult Classic by Sloane Crossley. And this wasn't, again, it's not life-changing, but it is set in New York. And this writer writes a lot about, like, New York, and has written lots of, different kinds of awards and journals and stuff like that. But I liked this one enough that I then went and sought out her other books. And she has several books, at least a couple of books of essays. So they're kind of like, not necessarily connected short reads.
Yeah.
And it's humorous. So it's like...
Great.
How did you get this number is one of them. Look Alive Out There. And it's like a lot of great depictions of New York. And what I wrote down after I read it was like, I don't know if I found this funny because I hadn't read anything funny in so long.
Yeah.
Or if it was actually legitimate.
Yes.
But the last book I'll mention later is, or one of the books I'll mention later, is another one that's funny in a way that I've never experienced. So.
I love that. New funny.
Yeah. So in Cult Classic, there's this woman bumps into an old flame, and then shortly thereafter bumps into another one.
Oh.
And then
is this a Hallmark Christmas movie?
It's right. Well, it's not like anything strikes up again with these people.
Okay.
She's just like, okay, this can't be a coincidence. And then so she starts like investigating why are all these people like from other places? They're no longer around
like
there
I've run
anymore.
into. Oh my gosh, that's my nightmare. It sounds
you,
awful.
Yeah, it's everybody's, so she tries to figure out why this is happening. So that's cool. It's pretty funny.
I like that.
It's surprising too. It's unusual. And then another one that I just read here last week, I think, is Hester by Lori Lico Albanese, and it is about several generations of women from the same family, and it's about synesthesia and witchcraft.
What is synesthesia?
Synesthesia is something that like a small number of people experience where they taste colors.
Okay.
There's in this case, she people's words and like the written word all have colors for her.
Wow.
And her ancestors have also had that experience.
That's cool.
And it's seen as a form of witchcraft because like she's a seamstress and she's really good at it, and they when people find out that she has this like different kind of perception, they think it's of the devil.
Of course. What else could it? There's no other
any
explanation.
kind of talent that a woman has is of the devil.
No.
So, and so it's also has like another little tie-in to other stuff like that when she meets the young or fictional version of Nathaniel Hawthorne. And
that's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, of course, he wrote The Scarlet Letter, and she uses her last name is an A, I think,
Albanese. It's funny. That's my husband's grandmother's maiden name.
Oh. I had never heard that name
I
before.
want to say they were Italian, of Italian descent.
The author, I'm not sure. Yeah, this one that sounds right. But so basically in the fictional story, Hawthorne steals the idea of a red letter from this seamstress that he knows.
Cool.
And anyway, so there's a lot of like historical detail, but then there's this, witchy kind of vibe from it too. And
that sounds cool.
Yeah, it was a good fit. Let's see. I also read the second part of a trilogy, the Lake Witch trilogy, Don't Fear the Reaper by Stephen Graham Jones. And the first book I've talked about is My Heart is a Chainsaw.
Okay.
And so this is the second following the main character from the My Heart is a Chainsaw.
Okay.
And it's a horror novel. And there's a serial killer come to town. And the heroine from the first book has to... She's like, I'm a final girl, so I gotta go do it, And yeah, she's like, why?
What are the freaking odds?
Yeah. Like she just gets, at the end, she's in prison in the first one. Or, it's hinted that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it's hinted or she actually goes. But
she's
being released from prison at the beginning of this book. And then the serial killer comes to town.
Okay, poor baby girl.
As with all final girls, she's got
the worst
terrible luck.
I know. Yep. Dang.
So, yeah. So there's,
I'd turn around and be like, you know what? Lock me back up.
Yeah, jail or prison, perfect.
Yep.
Perfect for me. I've had that thought before. If
I need some structure in my life. I
don't have to make decisions.
Yes.
3 meals a day.
You tell me what to do next. So true.
Read all the books that you want.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just really painting a picture here, right? Can you tell that I've thought a
Don't
lot
commit
about
any
it?
crimes, please, Crystal.
Yeah, that is the problem.
Yeah.
And you don't get to pick your like bunkmate.
It's so true. Yeah.
And that could be a major problem. So if you're into horror, definitely
Cool.
Read Stephen Graham Jones.
Nice.
And then also read Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. On another one, these are all like award-winning or award nominated at least. And she also wrote The Storied Life of A.J. Fikry, which several years ago was a hugely popular novel. This book is about these two young people, a young man and woman who join forces to create video games.
Cool.
But it is not just about video games. It's about this collaboration. It's about like growing from that and meeting the challenges of like this like really high stakes kind of world that they end up in and the two different ways that they handle it. And it's a love story and it's like, spans like 3 decades. And anyway.
Cool.
Yeah. It is a definitely recommendable.
Very cool.
And then the last book that I'm going to mention is one of the more bonkers ones that I've read. And I think, well, actually there's a couple more that I'll mention after this because, it's been a while. But Kira Jane Buxton is the author of Hollow Kingdom, and then part 2 is called Feral Creatures. Okay. And it is from the first-person perspective of a pet crow. Oh. I don't know how I picked this up. It kept being recommended to me, and I was like,
fine.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'll do it. But it's an apocalypse situation, and so this pet crow, his person, turns into a zombie. He doesn't really have the words for that, but
the crow.
The crow, yeah. But he's like,
Something's
he's got
different.
Problems. He's in the basement.
They seem different than they used to be. The problems.
So he's also got this big, dumb dog that is also a pet.
Oh my goodness!
And so the two of them,
the crow and the dog,
wow, go out into. It's in Washington. I don't know if it's Seattle, I think. And they go out and like see what's going on. And basically all the people are all zombies. So the animals kind of take it back over. And
why is that like sad and beautiful?
Yeah.
Because the animals take back over.
Yeah.
But
is wildly
so
humorous
crazy.
Though. It is like literally laugh out loud.
Oh my goodness.
But it's also a little raunchy.
Oh my gosh. I'm just like, how?
How is all these things? Yeah. You would be amazed, let me tell you.
Wow. Yeah. I have no original ideas. Like I hear ideas like this and I'm just like, nope. Nothing I think is original.
No. Well, so like, this crow has been living with this like kind of lower middle class guy and all the things, and he can he understands things, he understands and he can like talk. Yeah. Because some crows they can do
smart,
smart. And he's been like he's grown up in this house watching TV. And so his understanding of the world is completely filtered through like ShamWow commercials and stuff. And it's off the wall. And if you are not just in for this kind of like foul-mouthed, crazy, zombie thing,
stay away.
Yeah, but if that
sounds like your cup of tea,
and there's parts where it's like sad. It's really,
I mean,
I shed a tear.
Yeah,
I did, and the tear like went down my face, and I was like, "What?
What is happening?
What? How did that happen?" Because it's so silly,
Oh my gosh.
But it got me. They got me.
I'm so intrigued.
So.
Crazy.
Yeah, there's that.
I love that.
And then the last couple that I'm going to mention, or last three, are ones that were very, I don't know, other people thought that they were great. Just super duper. And I thought they're good. So the first, very good, but I didn't, like I said, none of these changed my life. So In the Dream House by Carmen Maria Machado won all kinds of accolades, and it's a memoir of an abusive relationship. And it's kind of like these short vignettes, so it's very kind of unusually structured. And it's very quotable, and there's so many references. She's a writer and writing this memoir, so there's so many references to other books, other writers, classical literature, pulp culture, art. Like she mentions the Felix Garcia Torres candy pile, and that's in a museum, and there's one in Fort Worth where I lived.
Oh, wow.
And we used to go to that museum all the time, and it's a big, enormous
candy pile
of little hard candies that are all wrapped, and like people can take one, and they just, anyway.
That's cool though that it's mentioned.
Yeah. And then other things, like she mentions the song Voices Carry by Till Tuesday, and the lead singer is Amy Mann, who I really like, but I didn't realize that she was the lead singer on that song.
Oh, cool.
And it was one of those that, I'm not going to go into what I thought the lyrics were, but it was not what
you never
the actual,
man.
And I knew the song, I knew the, if it would come on, I would immediately know what it was.
Yeah.
I had no idea what she was saying.
There are so many, I have such a hard time hearing any kind of difficult to understand, like it, even on the phone, if somebody has like a deep voice or whatever, toddlers, talking to somebody through a drive-through window or like drive-through speaker.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah, I always get so embarrassed. I'm like, what? Still didn't hear you what you said. It's so embarrassing.
And they just want to throw something at you.
Yes. But yeah, no, there are so many songs like that. It kind of blows my mind.
So there were lots of little things like that just kind of kept me going through it. But a lot of people were really, really super into it.
Yeah.
It
was nice.
Yeah, it was good. And then Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner. Can't stop hearing about this book. Everybody wants this book. Everybody loves it. Everybody read it. And, we've can't keep a copy of it. So many holds on this book, and especially as an ebook. And it's about a woman who's coming to terms with the death of her mother. And it's touching. She's a good writer. I can definitely see why people
what the appeal is.
But I would not, that's not like at the beginning of the year, we purchase books,
right?
Particularly I purchase nonfiction. I hear about these or see that they're coming or, whatever. That's not the one I would have picked to be the year's top book.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You never know.
I'm a weirdo too, so who knows? And then The Cabin at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay is the chapters in this book. It's a almost horror, thriller maybe is a better word. All the chapters come from different characters' perspectives, and some are first person, some are third person.
Okay.
And it kind of shifts between all of this, which is meaningful to the story. And basically it's about this family that is in a cabin, like a very remote cabin, and they're having like a summer vacation. And then these three people walk up to them and say, they want to be let in, they want to come into the house. And it turns out that these three people believe that they have the power to affect world disasters.
Oh.
So they're like, you have to choose one, like the three people that come to the family, tells the family, you have to choose which one of you is going to be murdered because we have to stop the all these disasters elsewhere. And so then they like turn on the news and say, see, this tsunami or whatever, that's because of XYZ. I don't want to give stuff away.
Sure.
And it is being made into a movie by M. Night Shyamalan.
Whoa.
Yes. And so I don't want to say really anything else about it.
Has he done any, like, book adaptations before?
I'm not sure. I have to look that up.
Curious.
He mostly has written his own.
Yeah, because we both were not fans of his last original work.
Oh, no. What was that called? Old, yeah.
Yeah.
Not good.
But I'm always rooting for him.
Yeah, no, I mean, ever since The Sixth Sense, you gotta... Yeah. He got us on with that one.
Yeah.
We just haven't
Well, and I loved The Village. Like, I remember seeing The Village in high school, and I loved that one.
Yeah. I don't know what he's going to do with it, but the book, I was... No, not for me.
I was about to say, it sounds...
Not for me, Dawg.
It's a no for me,
No for me, Dawg. That's what it is.
It sounds really stressful.
Yeah. Because there's a child involved.
Oh, no. Like, have you ever seen or read Funny Games?
Yes.
I watched that movie in high school, not knowing what I was getting into. I felt like sick to my stomach watching it. Like, it was just the worst thing in the world.
Yeah. And it doesn't let up.
No.
It's relentless.
Oh, my God. That's exactly,
This one
so anyway,
as well.
that's kind of what that makes me think of. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a no for me, Dawg.
That's a no for me, Dawg. Then, so that's the my year in books plus another 70 or so that I actually...
Right.
But, and then I do want to mention that now I'm part of a book club, and this is my first book club of this kind that I've ever been in. I used to do a book club at the library, but it was, we just talked about whatever we were reading.
Right.
And this one, we're, reading the same book. And so we had in our first meeting, we talked about The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, which I had read before, which is great. Very touching, heavy book. And then Her Majesty's Royal Coven by Juno Dawson, which is the first adult book by that author. And just a fun read, crazy read. Yeah. And so in the next go-around, we're going to read A Court of Thorns and Roses, which I started and is super popular. Another one of these, it's shelved in YA it's a series. I did not get into it.
Oh, man.
So any of you book club people out there, if you're listening, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
But if anybody's interested in that book club, it's at the Fredonia Brewery. A lot of fun. Big group, so we kind of split up, but it's going to be good. And do you have anything that you want to mention before I jump into TV and movies?
I mostly read... I don't think I read anything, like, new this year. I did a lot of... Yeah.
Well, let's talk about some shows. I watched The Midnight Club, which is on Netflix by Mike Flanagan. And now he's got the Flaniverse.
Is that the same person who did like
the Haunting of Hill House?
Yeah, Haunting of Hill House and Blythe Manor.
Yeah.
I haven't watched this one yet. You told me
briefly
about it.
Yeah, it's a little 10-episode series. I don't know if it's coming back.
Very different than the other.
It's based on a Christopher Pike book.
Huh.
And Christopher Pike is known for like, YA horror type stuff.
Right.
And it's all about storytelling. So it's these kids that end up, they're all terminally ill. Here we are again with... Anyway, so all these teenagers, basically, that are terminally ill, they go to this house where they all, live together and kind of are able to enjoy or whatever that is, live out their final days all together. But then some of them form this like group where they tell each other stories, and then visually in the show those stories are acted out, and they're all like different genres. So there's one's like a detective one's a ghost story, and
fun.
And they like at first I was like, oh, this is cheesy and maybe for a 12-year-old.
Because I think I can't remember if I just watched the trailer or started an episode and was like, what?
Yes. So yeah,
Okay.
stick through the
Okay.
first episode.
Okay.
Some of the storytelling parts are good.
Cool.
And there's very odd pacing and choices about like the plot and how the storytelling goes.
Okay.
But
Noted.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to say it's set in the 90s.
Nice.
Pretty sure. That was like the height of Christopher Pike's.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I was a kid, I was not into that.
Yeah.
I never read any of those books. But I was aware of them,
Yeah. I mean, I was young in the 90s, so had I picked anything
wouldn't
up,
have,
I wouldn't have been a part of the craze.
And then I started Cabinet of Curiosities by Guillermo del Toro. It's on Netflix as well. And he's got this, like, the little central part is he's got this Cabinet of Curiosities, and each drawer that he opens is a different director with a different episode, different stories.
I haven't seen that one, but yeah. I have it on my list.
Yeah, I've only seen like 2 or 3 episodes so far. Really different ones, and some of them are more successful than others.
Yeah,
it's just like anything.
Sometimes that's tough.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And then some movies.
Yeah,
Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. I was I was waiting with bated breath to see this movie. Everybody said it was like so amazing. I did not enjoy it.
What is it on? I know I've heard of it. I can't think of what it is.
I can't remember. I may have rented it.
Okay.
I think I finally just got, I just want to watch it.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
What's it about?
It's Michelle Yeoh, and it's really hard to say what it's about.
Okay. Everything, everywhere.
All at once.
Yeah.
Well, it's about like this lower middle class Asian family, and they run a laundromat, and the mom is really overbearing, and then these crazy things start, like almost how, in a musical, it's just everything's going along, and then suddenly it's a musical.
Yeah.
A little bit like that.
Okay.
I'll just say that.
Okay.
Go into it and see. I don't want to influence anybody by saying
you were not
what it is.
Crazy
No,
about it.
I wasn't. I thought it was over the top in a hokey way, and that's not what I was expecting after hearing so much. Of the people were just really on and on about it.
Curious.
So, thumbs down. Another one that is a big thumbs down was Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, yeah. You told me about it.
I saw so many of my friends that, like, I, value their opinions.
Yeah.
Almost lost me their, my love for them because...
Do I even know you?
Exactly. They were just saying, oh, this is so great. We saw it in the theater. It was amazing. No.
Did they have nostalgia glasses on, you think?
Yes.
And just like, because I'll do that. I'm like, this is
too.
not made well, but it brings me back to childhood. So it makes me feel good. It's really not the euphoria, the boosts of dopamine I get from watching something nostalgic, I think.
I'm totally there. And that's what I knew it was going to be going in. But without saying a whole lot, spoiling anything, it is the exact plot.
What? Like, I'm
it's
so
the exact
confused.
plot.
I'm so confused. Why?
Yeah. I mean, just almost down the line.
Yeah.
Just the exact same
movie.
movie.
I think I brought this up when you first brought it up. I mean, it's kind of like the way Disney's done with all of their live action, like remaking the classic cartoons into live action movies. And it's almost exactly the same. They'll throw in a few new songs or whatever, but I'm just like, I didn't want to just watch the same movie in a live action version.
Yeah. Very disappointed. I'm not a Tom Cruise fan anyway.
No.
So that wasn't a draw for me at all.
Yeah.
But it didn't do anybody any favors.
Boo.
Big boo. Let's see. Let's see if I have any other movies that I want to mention. No. So, Nope.
You watched
Peacock.
it?
I did watch it.
Yes! I've been waiting. Oh my God, what did you think?
Maybe I'm just being a
You
big
hated
grump.
it?
I did not enjoy it.
I didn't hate it. I wouldn't say I loved it.
No,
but
I was very middle of the road.
I just like haven't stopped thinking about it. Like in that, just like I haven't seen anything like it. I did not know what it was gonna be. I thought it was
surprising.
It was very surprising, disturbing at times.
Yes, it's gross.
Yeah, like a few points.
It's
More gross than like Us. Like Us was creepy, but not gross, and this one was more gross. Like there were some parts that I was like, ooh, didn't like that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some visceral kind of parts, but...
And I don't know.
I like the actors.
They
all did a good job.
They all did a great job. I loved the Best Buy guy.
Yeah.
He was really funny. The sister. What is her name? I can't think of the actor's name.
No, I can't remember.
My sister would be mad. She adores her.
Mm-hmm.
She's the little girl from Akilah and the Bee, right?
Yeah. No,
She was great, but oh my gosh, her character drove me nuts.
Yes, it was drawn out. Like the first 3/4 of it.
It really was
slow.
It was.
And it was like something's got to happen now.
Yeah.
And not in a good way.
Yeah.
Like kind of reminded me of Signs, the M. Night Shyamalan movie, where it's kind of a little bit like it's drawn out, but the whole time there's like these flashbacks and stuff, and so you're tense. It's really keeping you on edge. And this one, I was just like,
I know.
I'm not all that tense.
Well, and then when things start happening, it's like all happening, and it gets really crazy.
And that seemed to kind of go on for a long time.
Yeah, it did. I agree. There were lots of like kind of trying the same thing to get rid of the thing.
Yeah.
And and it's like there were two different stories kind of within. Did you read at all about the connection, his intent behind it all, like the connection between the two stories?
No.
Because that was my thing, as I was like, why? The monkey thing, that was what honestly made me the most unsettled.
If you haven't seen it,
sorry, we're talking
just
in code right now if you haven't seen it.
Tiny not really spoilers, but and we're being extra vague.
Yes.
But that was, I didn't like that.
I didn't either. It again made me feel weird.
It makes your skin crawl.
Yeah, it did. And that opening shot was really creepy. Like the shoe just like standing upright. I mean, as far as this was not his best work or movie, but I think it was totally original. I think it was ultimately well done. Like not the pace had problem, but I think he knows how to.
It was another one of those that was so built up by everybody.
Yes.
All of these, for whatever reason, everybody was just like, "These are the best movies. They're so good," and I didn't
think it was the best. I thought it was. Kind of fascinating in a creepy, weird way. At
least it achieved that, whereas Old did not.
No, that's so true. Yeah, no,
that was just boring and dumb.
Yeah. I didn't even watch the whole thing, and I understood the whole thing.
Yes, exactly.
But anyway, Nope was crazy.
Yeah. So now I'll just talk about a couple more. I keep saying a couple more. It's probably more than a couple. But I'm going to talk about some series.
Yeah.
And I've got like a whole list of food shows. So buckle up.
Separate episode.
I'm gonna go through pretty quickly, but I do want to share the insight on these because it's the holidays. Holidays and food shows go hand in hand for me.
Mama's been eating.
Yeah. And so I watched The Watcher on Netflix. There's so many books and movies with that
I know. Now
title.
I'm like, what is The Watcher?
It's only 7 episodes.
The house one.
Yes. It's Bobby Cannavale, Naomi Watts.
Is that based on
It's based on a
true story? I think on My Favorite Murder they covered it.
Yeah. Mia Farrow's in it. Lots of good actors. But all of them it's very strangely broad. So when it started, I was like, oh, this is a weird take on a true story because they were also cartoonish acting. And just kind of over the top and
dramatic.
broad. It was very weird. And that kind of settles a bit as it goes on. It was kind of like it didn't really know what it was.
Started high and...
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, well, you can explain what it's about. I was going to ask just ultimately, did you like it?
It was about this family, the couple and their 2 kids, and they move into this beautiful,
amazing
enormous house.
Yeah.
I would watch a series just about how pretty this house is.
I know. But, also, whatever happens to them, not so bad. Yeah, I'm just kidding. Worth it.
It's like a historic house, and it has like a dumbwaiter in it, and weird
nooks and crannies.
Yeah, so
and
you're kind of
things.
So something's going on, but the neighbors are all extremely aggressive and don't want the newcomers and don't like anything that they do to change anything. And the former people would never have changed that, and they all kind of watch them, and it just goes creepier from there.
Yeah, Don't they start receiving mysterious letters and stuff? Yeah. Okay.
So I thought it was well worth watching.
Cool.
And so then my food shows. The La Pitchoun, can't remember how to pronounce it, which is cooking in France. It's a cooking school in the home where Julia Child lived. And so people come for 5 days, and every day they learn something new. It's not recipes.
Yeah.
They just learn how to
skill.
They learn skills, but also how to think about food. And
oh, cool.
So it's a really interesting idea.
Yeah.
But there's the couple, there's the woman who's the chef, and then her husband, and then another couple who's their partners, and they kind of tend to the chickens in the garden and stuff like that. And they're all a little bit over enthusiastic.
Yeah.
And they're very, patting themselves on the back for what a great idea this is, and how amazing it is to interact with food in this way. And calm down.
For real.
But I get it. It's also beautiful French countryside, and I
maybe that just
I'll
everybody
watch it.
Probably starts talking like that.
Yeah.
When you're there.
Exactly. You're just okay, I'm swept along with it.
No, this is me now.
So that's just something. All of these probably I like to watch while I'm cooking. Mm-hmm. So if I'm gonna watch something while I'm cooking,
love it.
Another one that's short episodes follows Melissa King, the chef. She was on she's been on lots of other chef shows, and it's called Tasting Wild. And the first episode, for example, is in Washington on Mount Baker, and she goes with a person who's really knowledgeable about the area, and they forage and catch and whatever the food, and then they cook it there. And so it's this collaboration between somebody who knows all the best mushrooms and knows where to get mussels or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the chef cooks it up over open fire or something.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yep. I think Nick would be into that.
Yeah. Then there's The Lost Kitchen, which is on HBO. And in the first episode, it's about this woman who really brought herself up and created this restaurant that was in this tiny little trailer, and turned it into a bigger, and grew this thing. And it's in Maine, I think, and so it's only 6 months of the year that it can be open. The rest of the time, and so it's just she's really interesting person, and I mean these people were just they lucked out at how this happened. So the first episode, they're doing this. She's about to branch out and do something bigger, and COVID hits. So the second episode, they're they can't have a restaurant anymore.
What do we do? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it's the definition. Restaurants, they really, really suffered for this.
Yeah.
And so, so one of the unique thing about this place is that in order to get in, they wanted egalitarian, and so people send postcards to them in the off season, and then they pick out all the places all the seats that they have for the whole season.
Oh my gosh.
And they just do it by, by these postcards.
Oh, that's
the only way you can go eat at this restaurant.
That's adorable.
Yes. But then they end up basically helping the farmers market sell their food for a while, outdoors, with a drive-through type thing. So they really try to pivot and do all of this other stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't want to, again, spoil anything, but, COVID, they do eventually start to bring people back. They have to, build all of this stuff to make it feasible. But it's still really creative and, a really super cool way that they envisioned it. Not a lot of places.
Sure.
But,
yes.
It's still got this high imagination.
Yeah, yeah.
But then this woman has issues, it turns out, and there's lots of drama that happens after that. So,
well,
yeah,
I guess makes for great television.
It does. So yeah, I haven't even finished the series, so I'm going to
kind
see
of waiting
exactly
to see.
what happens.
Interesting.
Yeah,
and that one's on
HBO.
Oh, that's HBO. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Then there's Behind the Dish on Hulu, and basically they go into a town or city. The first one is about Portland, and then they find something that people are super enthusiastic about, and then the chef talks about.
I think
all
I've
this stuff.
seen some of that one.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. I think there's still a couple more. There's Great British Bake Off. I still watch all of that. They've had a couple of sensitivity missteps recently that's been in the news.
Really?
So, yeah.
I missed that.
Yeah, you should look it up.
Okay.
Some of it's silly, but some of it's yeah, come on, guys.
Oh, goodness.
And then I'll wrap up by saying that The Peripheral on Amazon, it's based on a book by William Gibson that I loved.
Yeah.
And the series is really good.
Cool. The Peripheral?
Yes.
Cool.
And then on Netflix, Wednesday, I ended up enjoying.
I need to watch it. We watched the first episode, but we were trying to watch too many things at once.
Yeah.
So we had to drop that one, but I want to go back to it.
It's just really atmospheric, and it's teeny, and some of the special effects are cheesy.
But I kind of love it. If you lean into that, I mean, that is the Addams Family,
Exactly.
Yeah.
What, are you going to go super serious?
Exactly. No, get out of here.
Yeah.
I love
they really
that,
hit the right
oh
tone.
my gosh, what's his name? Guzman. Luis. I love that he plays, perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah. I wouldn't have pictured it, but it's perfect, yeah.
No, and it wasn't on my radar at all, but then when it hit and everybody was like, oh, everybody's talking about it, I just turned it on without knowing anything about it, and I ended up enjoying it a lot.
I love it.
So that's 2022 in a little nutshell.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes. And I don't know when we're going to be doing another episode, but hopefully after the first of the year, we'll jump back in. No, it's been a while.
Yeah, totally.
It's been a wild fall that we've had, so.
Thanks for coming back.
Yeah, hopefully there's still some of you out there.
Thanks for being patient and cool.
And happy holidays.
Happy holidays, guys. You can hear us next year.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.